Click on the subscribe button, especially the bell on the right side. Otherwise, you will miss the latest videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Saptarishis Astrology. We have once again Simon G. Simon G, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Great to be here. Happy New Year.
Today, it's a very basic but extremely important topic that we are discussing with Simon G, which is on house and house laws. And he will be sharing with us insights as to what most of us miss when we see a house and house law. And he'll be taking Parashara Rishi's Brihad Parashara Horashastra, chapter 26, am I right, or 27 is it?
It depends on the version, but in this version, it's chapter 26. This is the Sharma, Girish Chand Sharma version. Okay. It's chapter 26.
I think in our Santanam version, it will be 26. There is one chapter plus minus in both the versions.
It's Bhavesha Paladhyaya, the effects of the Bhava Lords. All
right. So all yours, Simon G, please continue.
Yeah, okay. So, so you asked me why am I doing this? And there are two answers. Number one, because not everybody has yogas. If you read Parashara, most of the yogas, the combinations and stuff, you're probably not going to have in your chart. But what everyone has is the Lagna Lord somewhere, right? The second Lord somewhere, the third Lord somewhere. And so you can relate to each one of these instances and see if it's meaningful in your life. And more often than not, just reading these shlokas gives you some deep level of insight that you wouldn't get just by thinking about it. Like, for example, Lagna Lord in the first house says, Paragaha, the person will go to others' spouses. He or she will be interested in other spouses. Now, that's not going to apply in every case, of course, but it'll make you think. So that's the first thing. And the second reason is because I don't read these books enough. So I said, why don't I start a class? And so I'm teaching a class now on this to I have the best students, wonderful students, and they're challenging me, right? So that I have to prepare, and that makes me read this because I'm generally a lazy person. No, I am. And my teacher tried to teach me enough Sanskrit to be able to make sense of this for this purpose, so that I could read the text and not rely on the translation so much. And there are some deep little nuggets and secrets that you will find here that are not in the translation. That's the whole point. So we're going to do a little flavor of this today. And my class it's a 14-week-long class because we cover everything. We cover a lot more than chapter 26. Not everything, but we cover a lot. So if people are interested in that, they can look me up, simon@spirittype.com, shoot me an email, and you can get into the class. Anyway, so let's launch in here. So we're going to read the effects of the first Lord. So Lagneshe Lagnage Deha Sukha Bhaga Bhuja Vikrami Manasvi Chanchalascheva Vibharya Paragopiva Vibharyo. It should be Vibharya. So what does this mean? Lagna Lord in the Lagna, Deha Sukha Bhag. He will enjoy the physical comfort of the body. He will love being physical. And Arnold Schwarzenegger has this combination. Let me share my screen here so you could see. So this is the chart of Arnold, and you can see here. Can you see my screen?
No, it's not yet. One second. Yeah. Now, yes.
Yeah. So here we have Lagna Lord in the Lagna. And this is a man who very much enjoys being in the body, right? In fact, his career was one of enjoying the physical comforts of the body. Now, but what else does it say? It says Manasvi. Bhuja Vikrami. He will have, he'll be powerful. Manasvi, he'll be thoughtful. Chanchalash, changeable. Vibharya, so he will have two spouses. Paragaha apiva, or he will go to the spouse of another. Now this is very interesting because Parashara uses the word dvibharya for the first house in when the Lagna Lord is in the Lagna and in the third. But so that means something. He uses it all over this chapter, but he also uses the term paraga. Ga means to go, para means to another, means going from your family to someone else's spouse. So paraga he uses when the Lagna Lord is in the 8th and in the Lagna. Then the second Lord in the 7th, and he uses it for a bunch, but let's just stick to the Lagna Lord. So paraga tends to mean a cheater, someone who will cheat on their spouse. Now, if you have Lagna Lord in the Lagna, please don't write me letters. Parashara said this, not me. But the term Dvibharya or Bahudaraha tends to mean he'll have two wives, right? Well, two wives means the person will be popular. Because we're talking, see, in an ancient culture, it's someone who would attract many women in this case. But if you are a woman and have this, you would attract men. So Vibharya simply means he has multiple women around him, or Bahudara, many wives or many women around him, means he's popular. But Paraga literally means, so you could be popular and not cheat. But this says he will be both Vibharya, he will either be Vibharya or Paraga. So either he will be very popular or he'll be so popular and then go and cheat. And of course, we know this from Arnold's chart, this was the case. So he did this.
He had an affair with the maid.
What's that?
He had an affair with the maid and a child also with the maid, housekeeper.
Correct. He had an affair. Now, that wasn't the only affair. I mean, he was, during his days, he was very outspoken that he loved the ladies. So it's probably more than the maid, right? But anyway, we don't know. Then the second, Lagneshe Dhanage Balaha Labhavan Pandita Sukhi Sushilo Dharmavinmani Bahudaro Guneryutaha. When the Lagna Lord is in the second, the native will be Labhavan. He'll have a lot of money. Pandita, he'll be a Pandit. Not just a Pandit, someone on TV, but the real meaning of Pandit, which is someone who is well cultured, good-mannered, and knows how to speak. Sukhi, happy. Sushilaha, well-mannered. Dharmavit, a knower of Dharma Shastra. Mani, honorable, respected. And again, Bahudara. Now, why do they say Bahudara and Guneryutaha together? He will have very good qualities, but many wives. So Parashara is trying to show us that this is not someone who's going to cheat on their wife or spouse, but that he will have Bahudara, many people of the opposite sex around him. Aishwarya Rai has this combination. Okay. Because the second house, you'll see many actors and actresses have a stacked second house. Because the second house is your ability to attract attention. It's your face. People don't look at your feet first. They don't look at your fingertips first. They look at your face. Whether you're attractive or not. Brad Pitt has like 4 or 5 planets in his second house. Tony Robbins. Many actors and actresses have a powerful second house because it's their ability to attract others. And this sense of Bahudara gives, they will attract the opposite sex around them, whether they're good looking or not. But with the second, Lagna Lord in the second, it tends to indicate they will be a very good quality person, well-mannered, sushila, well brought up, dharmavit. So they're not going to cheat. So bahudara here does not mean a cheater. It means someone who attracts the opposite sex.
That's a very important point you made, actually. Usually
Yes,
we take it as cheating.
Yes, and when you read the translation, you don't get the sense because Parashara uses different words. Here he uses paraga, mean going to the other. Here he uses bahudara to mean what's translated is, in a similar way. So let's go to the next one, Lagna Lord in the third. I'm going through these really fast. In our class, we take a lot of time. We unpack these because sutra is something that's very packed, like a luggage. But you don't walk around with luggage. Once you get to Hawaii or Mumbai or the Andaman Islands, wherever you're going, you unpack the luggage, you get your bathing suit out, and you enjoy it. So we need to unpack these.
Which day are your classes? What time?
This is a class called Decoding Parashara. I also have a class called Nakshatra Secrets, where we get into all the things. You've read all the Nakshatra books. This is stuff that's not in the books. This is outside of any of the books. It comes from my teachers directly and from some of my experience. So I'm teaching two classes right now, Nakshatra Secrets and this one on Parashara. And if people want to find out more, like I said, they can email me, simon@spirittype.com. It is a paid class. It's not a free class, but I can give more info if people are interested. So, okay. Lagneshe sahaje jataha sinhatulya parakrami sarva sampadyuto mani vibharyo matiman sukhi. Again, vibharya. Wow. Lagna Lord in the third. Now, the person will be simhatulya, like a lion, equal to a lion, parakrami, so courageous. Sarva sampadyuta mani vibharya matiman sukhi. So people with Lagna Lord in the third make their own way in the world. When I see a client with this, sometimes I ask them, do you believe in this astrology stuff? Because, and they're kind of like, no, I really don't. But, my girlfriend told me to get a reading and she liked her reading, so she bought one for me. I'm like, it's okay. I won't tell anybody. Because they make their own way in the world. They're parakrami, here it is, simhatulya. They have to see it to believe it. Anyway, so vibharya, popularity as well. But popularity, why? Not because they're pandita, well-spoken or well-reared, but because they have shakti, they're courageous. And that is attractive to the opposite sex. Because you go out and do what you say you're going to do, and you do it. Okay, moving on. Lagna Lord in the fourth. And this is going to get interesting in a little bit. We're just warming up here. Lagneshe sukhage balaha pitrimatri sukhanvitaha bahubratri yutah kami gunarupa samanvitaha. So, the pitrimatri sukhanvitaha, the person will have the full benefit of mother and father. Obviously, if it's Aries Lagna, Mars debilitated in the fourth, this will not be the case, because now Lagna Lord is debilitated. But generally, if that Lagna Lord is not afflicted, you can expect a good relationship with mom and dad. And something that isn't translated, guna rupa samanvitaha. Guna, good quality. Rupa, he will be attractive. Lagna Lord in the fourth gives a kind of good, like again, like the Lagna Lord in the second makes you attractive because you have Shakti. Lagna Lord in the fourth gives you a certain elegance and grace, like you come from a good family, you have a good bearing, you're well-mannered, that kind of thing. Particularly when it's not afflicted. If it's afflicted, all bets are off. So Rupa is your form, what you look like. Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
All right, we'll go through next couple quick. Lagneshe sutage jantoho suta saukyam cha madhyamam pratama patyanashah syat Mani Krodhi Nripapriyaha. So this one says, Lagna Lord in the fifth, the firstborn will perish. Now we have to be careful when you read this because this was written, think about 2,000 years ago. It's not that they didn't have good medical care, they did, but it was reserved for the kings and queens. In the village out in the middle of nowhere, they maybe did not have a doctor. So if you have Lagna Lord in the fifth, your child may need extra care. So I know plenty of people who have this, who have children. Their firstborn didn't die, but maybe he had delicate health. Or maybe they had an abortion, and that was by choice. Or maybe they chose not to have children. So this will still play out, but you have to remember the context that we live in an age and in a society, most of us, where we have access to basic medical care. So this pratama patyanashaha doesn't have to be literal, that the firstborn will perish. Okay.
This reminds me of an old video I did, something that I learned from an old Pandit. And in that video, it's somewhere in our YouTube channel. We got more than 800 videos on our channel. But what I learned from that Pandit was something interesting, which is even if your Lagna Lord is exalted, it goes into exaltation in a particular house, or it goes with an exalted planet, or let's assume it's not even exalted, wherever the Lagna Lord sits, that particular house, one particular Karakatva, there will be blemish, in spite of it being well placed. There will be a major blemish. So suppose Lagna Lord is in the 11th house, okay? We would normally assume extremely good for wealth, but to get to that wealth, he will have to put double the efforts of what a normal guy, or his relationship with his elder siblings, there will be blemish in it. Basically, one Karakatva of that house, because where the Lagna Lord goes, it extracts the energy to itself. So the other Karakatvas, one of them especially suffers. I mean, I'm just leaving it out on the open. People can test it.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. And I default to Mantreshwara when he says, all Bhava Lords will give good results if, basically, if they're left alone, if they're aspected by benefics, and at the very least, no malefics influence, and they have strength, that they're not combust, they're not, if it's a moon, it's not a dark moon, they're not debilitated in an enemy sign. So, provided all that is true, then that Karakatattva should be fine. But in most cases, there's going to be some blemish.
Absolutely.
Right? It may be in Mrityu Avastha. It may be at the end of an odd sign in the last degree. Everything else is fine. No malefic influence, friend sign, but still that one little thing, blemish. Right? So yeah, I think you're right. There's probably something to that, but I would add, especially if it doesn't apply to Mantreshwara's thing, which is all Bhava Lords give good results if they are clean of any malefic influence and strong. All right, let's go. We'll just go to the. In fact, I'm going to skip the 6th and the 7th here, and go to the 8th house. Lagna Lord in the 8th. This one's very interesting. Lagneshe Ashtamage Jataha Siddha Vidya Visharadaha Rogi Chauri Choraha Mahakrodhi Dyuti Chaparadharagaha. So, when in a Sanskrit verse, typically, the first thing that is mentioned is the most important or the most interesting. And here, the first thing he mentions is when the Lagna Lord goes to the 8th, the person will become a Siddha Vidya Visharada. What does that mean? Well, he will have deep knowledge of the occult. Interesting, huh? So, and it immediately made me think of a chart, Jimi Hendrix, the guitar player.
Yeah.
Sagittarius Lagna, Lord of the Lagna in the 8th house, exalted. And people said that his guitar playing was so brilliant that he must have sold his soul to the devil, that he had occult powers.
Oh,
Isn't it interesting?
that's interesting.
And in fact, they said that about a guitarist born 60, 70, maybe 80 years before him named Robert Johnson. Robert Johnson was so fast, people would pass out when he played, and they said he had the devil in him.
My God.
So when they saw Jimmy, they said he's the reincarnation of Robert Johnson. Which is why Jimmy wrote the song Voodoo Child. He said, I'm a voodoo child. Lord, I'm a voodoo child.
Okay.
Right? Siddha Vidya Visharadaha. He will have complete knowledge of some facet of the occult. Bhagavan Rajneesh, Osho, has this. A bunch of astrologers I know have this. So the area of Vidya, of Siddha Vidya that you go into may be different. May not be the occult, but it's something hidden that you study, like Jyotish. Then it says, Rogi, Choraha. Then after that, oh yes, and he will be a thief. Okay, that's not a bad thing necessarily. No, sorry, he'll be Rogi. He'll be sickly. Then he'll be a chor. Now, Picasso used to say, a good artist borrows, a great artist steals.
Oh, God.
This is a fact. If you want to be a great at your art, whether a musician, artist, actor, you look at the best people before you and you take the qualities that they have. So chora, that isn't necessarily a bad thing. It means you can model, you see the best that others have and you take it. Not physically, but you take their best qualities. So it can make you a good student. Mahakrodhi. Krodha is anger, but this means very emotional, very up and down, maybe even manic or bipolar. Okay? Dyuti, he will be a gambler. Now, Dyuta means gambling, dice, but I would say this extends to life where everyone takes a gamble, risks their security, risks their livelihood to take a chance to do something. You know, Bill Gates in the garage building his first computer, drops out of college. That's a gamble. Everyone who has, man or woman, who has some sense of this, I have a vision to accomplish, they are gamblers, folks. We are all gamblers at some point in our lives.
Just
like what you...
Yes, sorry.
No, what you're doing with your channel, with what people are doing, you know, you could be doing just a regular job. This is a gamble, but the fruits of it, you know, like Indra is the greatest gambler. He risks everything, but then he wins the kingdom of heaven.
What does Parda Ragaha means?
Paradara. This is again Para, other, Dara, wife, Ga, goes. So like the Lagna Lord in the first, now this says he will be a cheater also. Lagna Lord in the 8th. Not a cheater, but he will go. Not just thinking about it. He will go to be with the spouses of others.
Bill Gates, just wanted to ask you, Bill Gates, which Lagna you take, Cancer or Gemini?
Gemini, 100%.
Okay.
Because all the yogas line up there, Lakshmi Yoga, Lakshmi Yoga, the yogas become his, Chandramangala becomes supremely powerful. They're yeah, I take the, for sure, that one, yeah. Okay, then let's do Lagna Lord, Lagna Lord in the 9th. Let's erase all this. Om Lagneshe Bhagyage Jataha Bhagyavan Jalavallabha Janavallabha Vishnu Bhakta Paturvagni Daraputra Dhaneryutaha. So, Bhagyavan, he will be a lucky man. Janavallabha, he will be beloved of all the people. People will love him. Angelina Jolie has this. Lucky beloved of the people. Now here's an interesting one, Vishnu Bhakta.
Yeah, that's all.
Ah, the moment I read this, I thought, aha, there are the three spiritual yogas, Shri Kanta Yoga, Shri Natha Yoga, and Vrinchi Yoga. Shri Natha Yoga says that when the ninth Lord is well situated in a Kendra or Trikona, in a friend sign, own sign, or exalted, and Mercury and Venus are in the same thing, in a Kendra Trikona, friend, own, or exalted, this is Shri Natha Yoga. So, and the person will be a Vishnu Bhakta. So that yoga is related to the ninth house especially. Then Vrinchi Yoga says when the fifth Lord, Jupiter and Saturn are all that, either in a Kendra or Trikona, in friend sign, own sign, or exalted, then he will have Brahma Varchasa. He will have the Shakti of Lord Brahma, tons of creativity and a great brain. And then Shri Kanta Yoga is when the Lagna Lord, Sun, and Moon are in a Kendra Trikona in their own sign, exalted, or a friend sign. But here it says Vishnu Bhakta for the ninth house. So again, when people ask about who should be my Ishtadeva, and Lagna Lord is in the ninth, consider that something. You also, there's other ways to look at that, but this is something.
I incidentally remember a horoscope where the Lagna Lord is in the ninth house. And one of his friends was sick. So this man, young man, just said, don't worry, I will do Vishnu Sahasranam for you today.
Mm.
By next day, his friend has a miraculous recovery.
Amazing.
I just remember that.
Amazing. Yeah. This is even if the person doesn't know it, because look, they could be someone from South Africa. They never heard of Vishnu, but they will have an affinity for what Vishnu represents through their own culture, through their own way, you know. So I thought, so this is very interesting. Dara putra dhaneryutaha. He will have a spouse, children, and wealth. But again, provided this is not afflicted. All right, the 10th house. Lagneshe dashame jataha pitri saukya samanvitaha nripamanyo jane kyataha svarjitasvo nasanshayaha. Pitri saukya samanvitaha. He will be the darling of his father. Nripa manyaha. So the father is the ninth house. You take ninth house or 10th house as the father?
I take ninth.
Yeah.
I take it two ways. When you are considering yourself, your father, you take ninth house. When you consider her or him as husband to your mother, to evaluate that part of the life of the mother, you take as 10th house.
Perfect. I like that.
Suppose we are looking at the longevity of mother's husband, okay, or Maraka Sthan for mother's husband. So that will be 10th house, or relationship or marriage status of mother's married life. So that will be 10th house as father, that time, because that time she is the husband, because 7th from 4th, 7th is the spouse. So each one of us has a different relationship among each family member.
Absolutely, yeah.
But in olden days, especially
they took the 10th house. Yeah.
No, North India they take 10th house. South India they take 9th house. Because in olden days, okay, the 9th house father was also considered as a guru. And in the 9th house, there is a particular word, Dharma Patni. Or sorry, Pati Parameshwar. Parameshwar is Ishwar. So even the ninth house becomes marriage. Pati Parameshwar, where you treat the Pati means the husband as God.
Right.
That was part in olden days where it continued for thousands of years, that tradition. You know.
Yeah.
So ninth house is very important for the longevity of your marriage also, because it is the legality of your marriage.
Right, right. The contract.
Yeah.
The third from the seventh is the marriage contract.
The contract.
Yeah.
So if there are malefics in the ninth house, extremely bad malefics aspected by another malefic, then the legality of your marriage always will be shaky.
Will be in question. Yeah.
And in transit, if it affects, or in dasha, if it affects along with bad transits, then it is a double whammy, like almost 100% divorce or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
My Guru Patel Saab wrote in his book Nadi and Navmansh, one of the finest books ever, you know, and he explained all relationships from the Lagna. So he said, you are the child of your father. Father is ninth house, child will be fifth from it, which is Lagna, which is the self. So he explained it that way. You understanding?
No, I understand. Yeah, but that does tend to break down after a while. Yeah, but no, I get. Yeah, I know where you're going. Yes. Yeah, it's beautiful. In fact, we're doing that even right here with this verse. We're going to break it down that way.
Similarly, if I can just take 5 more seconds.
Yeah. No, please. Yeah.
You will observe whenever there are malefics in the 8th house, suppose my chart, if I have malefics or functional malefic, either or, in the 8th house, or even say Saturn retrograde in the 8th house, relationship of me with my mother will always be rocky. Now you will say 8th house has nothing to do with children, but it is 5th from 4th. 5th from 4th. So many a times I have, because 8th house we normally don't see. Then if you see the dasha, antar dasha of the 8th lord, or pratyantar dasha of the 8th lord, or a gochar in the 8th house, you will get child. One of my friends got a child when his transit Jupiter was going through his 8th house. The reason is 8th house is inheritance. 8th house is inheritance. So my inheritance, who will take 99% my child? So my inheritance I cannot take above. So when 8th house of death, when I die, my child gets the inheritance. He comes closer to it.
Right.
Anyway, and when my wife dies, which is 2nd from 7th, Maraka of 7th, again my child comes more closer to the inheritance.
Yeah.
Anyway, please continue.
Yeah. No, that's an interesting way to look at it. And yeah, no, and in fact, yeah, that's what we're doing here. So the idea of why are you beloved of the Father? Because the second house to any house is the gem, the value, the artha of that house. So the second to the Father is the 10th. And when you occupy that house, you are the treasure of the Father. Does that make sense? So I thought, well, why not extend this to other houses? So what happens if the Lagna Lord goes to the 12th? Then you become the treasure of your friends. The 11th house is your friends, right? Or your older sibling. And so, a lot of people in my class raise their hands. Oh, see, I have this. And yes, my friends love me because I spend money on them all the time. They ask me for money, I give it. Because the 12th is Vyaya Bhav, the house of expenditures. So the second to any house is the treasure of that house. Lagna Lord goes to the 8th, now you're the treasure of the spouse or of the other. So people like you. People want to possess you. Jimi Hendrix had this. Osho had this. People wanted to grab a hold of him. They want to grab him, right? So what if Lagna Lord goes to the fifth? Then you will be the treasure of the mother. So the point is, I'm teaching and trying to unpack these verses so people can extrapolate. Why is it that you're going to have Pitrisokya? Because you become the treasure of the father. So Lagna Lord in the fifth, I would add, you become Matrisokya Samanvitaha. You will be the darling of your mother. So maybe your listeners here who have these combinations can comment and say, no, this is not true, or yeah, this actually played out, because this is how we find out if these principles work. And Parashara is so certain that he says, na sanchayaha, there's no doubt about it. Forget about it, folks. This is how it is.
You know, when you look at the Sanskrit and you see the English translation, so much is missing in the English translation here in this text.
Yeah. No, now, don't get me wrong. I think Mr. Sharma has done a fabulous job, but just you can't, there's a lot of things you can't get. Yeah. And sometimes, you know, he's not probably not a native English speaker, so some of the things do get lost in translation. But at least we have it, you know. But so, yeah, no, I agree with you, though. This is why we're unpacking it, to see how much wealth is in the actual sutra. And this is what my teacher tried to get me to do, but I'm so hard-headed, I just, it's okay. You know, let me just read charts. But you can't read charts unless you know the Shastras. Anyway, I'm getting older, so it's starting to break through a little bit here. Is this enough, or should we go on?
Yeah,
should we do a couple more?
Yeah, please.
Om Lagneshe Labhage Jataha Sada Labha Samanvitaha Sushila Kyata Kirtischa Bahudara Guneryutaha. So again, Sada. So this is what you were talking about before. Sada Labha Samanvitaha. Parashara says he will always have money. But you were saying, well, wait a minute. Maybe, but some meaning of the 11th house will suffer. And that could very well be true, especially if there's, debilitation or combustion or something like that. Sushilaha, the person will be well-mannered. Khyata kirtischa. Khyata is fame, kirti is renown. Kirti is literally like kirtan, where people will sing your praises. You know that, Simon? Oh, you know that Sunil? Oh, he's great. Sunilji? Oh, yeah, love him. Saptarishis? Oh, that's a great... This is kirti, where they say your name. Khyati is like fame, just general fame. Bahudara guneryutaha. Again with the bahudara. So many of these have bahudara, means many spouses. It says many wives. But again, this means popularity according to me. Because why? He's also gunehi yutaha. He has good qualities. This is not a cheater. This is not a paraga, someone who goes to others' wives. He just attracts a lot of people. Lagna Lord in the 11th, good for popularity, according to Parashara. And let's see, finally, let's erase all this. Om Lagneshe Vyaya Bhavaste Deha Sokya Vivarjitaha Vyarta Vyayi Mahakrodhi Shubhadrig Yoga Varjite. Shubhadrig Yoga Varjite. So, Lagna Lord in the 12th, Deha Sokya Vivarjita. Unfortunately, the person will be bereft of bodily pleasures. The problem is, anybody that I've asked who has this combo doesn't experience that. So this one, question mark.
My question here is, the Sanskrit says he will have bodily pleasures or he will not have bodily pleasures?
Not have. Vivarjitaha.
But the English translation below, it's written that native will be benefic of bodily pleasures, or should it have been verific?
Bereft. It should say bereft. Okay, this is bad translation.
Okay.
Yeah, bereft. Let me see what my copy says here. It should be bereft. Vivarjitaha means he will not have it. Vi artha vyayi. He will spend on things that have no artha, no value, things that are worthless. Like he spends $2,000 on a dinner for nothing, or especially if the person has the Palguni nakshatras, or which like a lot of pomp and circumstance, they tend to be spendy, or other combinations for expenditure. He will unfruitfully spend his wealth. And then Mahakrodhi. Again, Krodha here is not anger, according to me. It is big ups and downs in emotion. When the Lagna Lord goes to the 8th or the 12th, the person may be manic, bipolar, or have great ups and downs. This is Mahakrodha, Mahakrodhi. Literally means very wrathful, very angry. But this is only if Shubhadrig Yoga Varjite. If it is bereft of benefic influence. If it has benefic influence, then this will not be the case. So, for example, and then the notes here are good. If it's Libra Lagna, the Lagna Lord will be debilitated in the 12th. So it's especially bad. So you always have to consider the strength of the planet, and in order to see if this verse will actually play out in a good way or in a bad way. Okay. So, I mean, this is a sample. This chapter goes on then when the second Lord is in such and such house and so on. So everyone can read this for themselves because everyone has the second and first Lord somewhere. I think this is a good place to stop. I do want to address a question that you asked me just off camera before we started, though, about the Vishnu Sahasranama, which is the last thing we did. Should we address that?
Yeah, that's because we got some questions from ladies, like for 7th house problem, that is marriage house problem, marriage issues. Should we take, one is the shloka of where the 7th Lord is placed, the Naumansh, particular Naumansh. The second, which you said in the video also, is the 7th cusp, what point it is placed in the Naumansh. Correct?
Correct.
The third is Shukra. Should it be Shukra? Should it be Mars? Because they are ladies. Should it be Mars or should it be Jupiter? So if you could.
Yeah. So to me, and I'll list them in order of importance, the most important is the 7th cusp. The reason being it's the most specific to you, because everybody born within 2 hours of when you were born is going to have the same lagna. That's 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people around the world. On any given day, we're going to have the same lagna. Are they all the same as you? No.
Could you show for the viewers, sorry to interrupt, could you show for the viewers how to find the 7th cusp once again?
Yeah, absolutely.
Some of them missed it.
It's the easiest thing in the world. I'll show you why. So you know your lagna, right? So here's the South Indian chart, lagna in 2559 Gemini. The 7th cusp is exactly opposite, same degree. So it's going to be 2959 Sagittarius. It's always opposite the lagna degree.
Now, how to find out what is the Naumansha of the 7th cusp? Is there a software which shows it, or Parashara Light?
I'll just show you how to do it by memory. It's very easy. In a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, the Navamshas begin with Aries. Okay? In an earth sign, Taurus, in a fire, earth sign, Taurus, a Virgo, in Capricorn, they begin with Capricorn. And then in a air sign, they begin with Libra. And in a water sign, they begin with Cancer. So just rewind the video, make a note of this. So for this example chart right here for Arnold, his 7th house cusp is 25 Sagittarius. 26 really, it's 2559. So what do? The first Navamsha is Aries, because it's a fire sign. And then we just count. 26 degrees is which Navamsha? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's the 8th Navamsha. You could take your time and count them out, right? Break them down, each one. So in the first, I'll slow down even more. In the first 10 degrees of a sign, there are 3 Navamshas. In the second 10 degrees, there are another 3 Navamshas. And in the final, there are 3. So 26 degrees isn't the final third, it's here. Each Navamsha is 3 degrees, 20 minutes. Sorry, my thing isn't drawing so well. 3 degrees, 20 minutes. So just follow the sound of my voice. And so this falls in the 8th Navamsha of Sagittarius. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, which sutra do I pick for him? You could go very easy. So Aries has 9 Navamshas, 9. Taurus has 9, 18. Gemini has 9, 27. Cancer has 9, 36. Leo has 9, 45. Virgo has 9, 54. Libra has 9, 63. Scorpio has 9, 72. So up to the end of Scorpio, we're at 72 Navamshas past. Which Navamsha was it in Sag? Number 8?
Yeah.
So 72 and 8 is 80. Yeah. So it's shloka number 80. By the way, everything I just said about how to pick the Navamsha, that actually you don't need to know that for picking the shloka. That was to know which Navamsha. So his seventh cusp is in Scorpio Navamsha, number 8. But just ignore that. You don't need to know that. Just count how many Navamshas into the sign is that degree, the Lagna 7th cusp degree. I don't know if that made sense.
It makes sense.
We had an illustration.
Yeah.
Very easy illustration. Just, they can use that.
Yeah.
So once you find it, boom, there it is. So he needs to chant the 80th first. So number 1 is the 7th cusp. Number 2 is the Bhava Lord. So the Lord of the 7th. In this case, it will be Jupiter for him. And look at the Navamsha where his Jupiter sits. Again, count how many Navamshas from Aries is it. And that would be the shloka.
Of the Vishnu Sahasranama.
Yeah. But even if you do just one, do the 7th cusp. That's the most powerful in my opinion, because it's the most specific to you. Finally, you could do Navamsha of Venus, because Venus is the karaka for relationships and for relationship sukha, whether you're a man or a woman. But if you want to attract a man, and you know what kind of man you want, if you're a woman. If you're a man, you do Venus anyway. If you're a woman, a straight man, I should say. If you're a woman, you would do, what kind of man do you want? Do you want a passionate man who will sweep you off your feet and has a lot of energy and charisma, who in some ways may dominate you? That's Mars. Or do you want a man who will take care of you? You're looking for marriage for someone who is, you know, more Jupiterian. Then you do Jupiter. But here's the secret. Do the one that's better placed in your chart. If you have Mars debilitated, doing Vishnu Sahasranama may help your Mars. That's good for that degree. But Mars may not have the Shakti to give you what you want. So do the one that's better placed for a relationship if you're a woman. Now, if you're already in a relationship and you want more passion, then do Mars. Or if you want your husband to do well, to have more prosperity, to be kinder to you, to have more affection, then do Jupiter. Because that's the karaka for partner, aside from Venus. Or you just want relationship happiness, do Venus. So I recommend the 7th cusp, and then if you want, the ruler of the 7th and or the karaka of the 7th. So that's up to 3 shlokas that you'll be doing. Do each one of them 27 times at least, and you'll do great. Or just do 108 repetitions of that 7th shloka and see what happens in your life within 1 to 2 months. But, every day.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
So, anyway, I hope this was useful. I don't mean to, be too, pedagogical here, but for me, I don't read these classics. I don't read, these books that we all bought when we traveled to India so long ago. They just sit on the shelf. And so this is an excuse for me to get out and actually do it. And there's so much wealth here that, thousands of years later, Parashara is speaking. And the insights that he hid in the sutras are there. So anyway, I hope that was useful.
That was very, very useful. And I hope we continue in the future on such classical things. And
it would be my pleasure.
Thank you so much, Simon Ji, for coming on Saptarishis. It's really wonderful.
All right.
Next time, I hope we do some upagrahas from there. Okay.
Well, I'll share the little that I know, but it's very useful when it applies about the upagrahas. It can be very useful, but I'm no expert, but I'll share my little bit.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Okay.